Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I am joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, are you freaking hyped? Lions are 5-1 now.
Man, oh man, I am beyond elated. I knew this was going to be a tough game. We all knew this was going to be a tough game. What started off like a boxing match to begin with. Detroit eventually got a couple of great punches in there. Boy, oh boy, I'm feeling it. And with a couple teams getting some losses this week, are the Lions the best team in the NFC?
I think they are.
Hmm?
I will. Yeah, I do. But on today's show, we're going to go over the Lions' Week 6 win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then look ahead to their Week 7 matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on YouTube channel or your podcast platform of choice. You can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description. And you can also use our timestamps to skip to certain points if you would like, which is also located down in the description. So now with a 5-1 Lions team that dominated the Bucs, let's freaking celebrate and dive into this week's show. Okay, we got the...
It feels good.
Yes, it does. We got the Lions 20 and the Buccaneers 6. And I just want to start off and saying, I wasn't too worried the whole week, but, today came and I was like, oh, God, this is it. I think the Lions might lose this one. Just looking over what everyone's saying on the internet, on the talk shows about the Buccaneers defense and the way they fly around and how Baker Mayfield's kind of turned the corner in his career. So, yeah, I was a little worried there, but obviously, the Lions got the job done.
Yeah. I felt the same way as you. I didn't think this was going to be a cakewalk. I said it last week. I think we're going to get the Bucs coming off of a bye week, their best effort. And when it started off, like I said earlier, off the top, it was a boxing match. It was these two teams feeling each other out. Unfortunately for Baker Mayfield, who has looked pretty good this year, that early interception, getting tipped, didn't help. The Lions go out to an early 3-0 lead, but he was able to orchestrate a couple of good drives, went down, tied the game up at one point. But, the fact that the Lions defense held the Buccaneers to 2 field goals the whole game is a testament to Aaron Glenn, that defense. And I'm also going to, you got to admit a little bit, Baker Mayfield just missing a couple of key throws because that tipped interception easily could have been a 90-yard touchdown. Mike Evans was wide open. And then there's a couple times he threw some passes. Guys could have easily caught it, probably gotten long touchdowns out of it. That he just a little overthrown. I don't know what the problem is, if they were rusty coming off the bye or if it was more just his connection, or is it his accuracy down the field? I don't know. I haven't watched a whole lot of Bucs football, but I do know that Bucs defense is legit, and it took a lot from the Detroit Lions to get through that defense.
Yeah, I felt like he got sacked once, but I think he got pressured a little bit, so that kind of threw him off. But yeah, the cornerbacks, I don't know if they were just told to play safe, don't be on man with the Bucs receivers. But yeah, I felt like couple throws Bakers could have made, it would have been a different story we would have been talking about here.
For sure. I mean, even after, a 14-point loss, that Buccaneers team, I'm not going to say they're a bad team. That is a great defense. And if that offense clicks, I mean, good luck. That is going to be a tough team to get out. And that was a tough game. I mean, the scoreboard, I won't say is indicative of how close that game actually was. But Detroit did what they had to do, again, stopping teams from rushing for over 100 yards. Was that the 6th straight game? Held the opponents to under 100 yards rushing. First time since the 30s, I believe, if I saw that graphic right on the internet, that the Lions have done that. So, unbelievable. But, I mean, again, I can't speak enough that this Buccaneers team is not bad. They are a good, solid team. the Lions just happened to get those few plays that, got the best of them. And a lot of that goes to Jared Goff slicing and dicing that defense. Ben Johnson
Oh,
calling
yeah.
some plays. There wasn't any trickeration. It was just Jared Goff just just threading the needle to Amon-Ra so many times, like where you're like, there's two guys on either side of Amon-Ra's face, and Amon-Ra's the one who's coming away with it, like in that tight coverage. And I don't know how many times you're going to win that, but Goff won most of those today.
Yeah, and Goff, yeah, he really turned it up. But we also had a couple other players, like Josh Reynolds, like blocking for Amon-Ra St. Brown for that touchdown. I mean, that's unbelievable, like what he did.
That grade A effort. That's something that he's going to get praise for all week. But this is what that Lions team is built for. This is the way this team is built. Like, he had to step up to fill in for an injured Montgomery, and then he couldn't get much on the ground. He had a couple nice runs later, good little chunk plays, but we couldn't get the running game going. So he made up for that, and that great block to give Amon-Ra the sideline running touchdown there, which was fantastic. And that's just the mentality of this team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad they kind of stepped it up there because that first quarter was rough. But yeah,
Like
let's.
I said, it was two teams feeling each other out that early on. Like, it was definitely either could have gone either way. But Detroit weathered that storm and showed the hype that's been surrounding them. They are legit.
Yeah. Thank God, because I think
it
they're
feels
number
weird for
one.
even me to say. I'm still kind of like nervous saying that our team is legit now, but it's there. The proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about some stats here real quick, and then we'll talk about like what we thought, like struggles, what people shine, what happened overall. But real quick, for the Lions, we had Jared Goff, 30 of 44 for 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra had a big day. He had 12 receptions for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. And a name that I think we need to start getting familiar with again this year is Jameson Williams. Had 2 receptions for 53 yards and 1 touchdown. That was a beautiful play. And we also had the what does Campbell call him? Like the silent praying mantis or whatever. Josh Reynolds.
I guess.
He had 3 receptions for 50 yards. So yeah.
Reynolds has been clutch this year, man.
Yeah, I'm glad they got him a couple years ago because he's really proven his worth this year, and it's good to see him. Like they were saying,
he doesn't have the flashy stats, but he is that guy in moments where you're like, we need a first down. And I think they said it during the broadcast. Every single one of his catches is like for either a touchdown or for a first down. And he had one, I think that was like 9 yards, so he was just short of a first down in this one. But a couple of times it's just like we need a play, and there he is, like right kind of when you need him. So heck of a guy. And even Khalif Raymond, and I mean, what is it? Goff threw. They said he completed passes to 9 different receivers. 9 different receivers today. Like, that's unbelievable. Just spreading the ball around.
It was 10 receivers today.
Oh, they ended up with 10. Okay, during the broadcast, they said 9. He ended up with 10. That's awesome. That is spreading the ball around.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what they're doing on the offense there. Let's go ahead and talk about the Buccaneers real quick. Baker Mayfield had 19 of 37 for 206 yards and 1 interception. Rashid White had 7 carries for 26 yards, and Chris Godwin had 6 receptions for 77 yards. Total yards, Lions had 380. Out of that, they only had 40 yards of rushing. And the Buccaneers had 251 yards total, and out of that, they had 46 yards of rushing. So yeah, the rushing game was not there for either team this week. And for the Lions, it didn't help that Montgomery went out of the game the first half. It sounds like it shouldn't be nothing too major. He'll probably miss next week's game with a rib injury. We'll see, but hopefully he isn't going to be out for too long.
Right. Yeah, his injury kind of changed the complexion of what it felt like they were trying to do on offense. I feel like later on in the game, had Montgomery been, in there, I think he would have gotten a few more yards than those Craig Reynolds runs because they were doing a lot of up the middle. And with Reynolds, he's not the up the middle guy. He's an outside, get him outside the tackles kind of guy. And Montgomery though can kind of do all of that, and it was definitely missed because I feel like he would have definitely been a heck of a weapon there towards the end when they're trying to run out that clock. And
Oh
instead
yeah,
of throwing these screen passes, which were kind of their version of running the ball at that point to gut some clock, having Montgomery in there would have he could have gotten 3-4 chunk yards every now and then, and you didn't need to risk Goff throwing the ball around, which at one point ended up being batted away. There's a couple ones that kind of you wish Goff would get back, but fortunately, like they were just out of the reach of defenders and nothing bad happened for the Lions in that regard. But just to play it safe, it would have been nice to have had Montgomery in there, but clearly, they did what they needed to do.
yeah. Like I was kind of worried, not only this game but last game with Montgomery. Just watching him in like Chicago, you kind of always hear like, oh, he's injured, um, he's out, or he's not going to play this game, or something like that. So I think when he comes back, I think Gibbs should be back too. So it kind of split the backfield a little more. So hopefully this won't happen again.
Yeah, they got to find that balance. They got to get a Gibbs and a Montgomery balance in there because as much as I would love to see Montgomery run it 30 times a game, this is what could end up happening. You run him that much, and I get it. You want to rely on him, but you also got to maybe use him to open things up and not always have him just taking those kind of hits. Granted, it was just a nice run. It looked like he just landed on the ball. I thought maybe he just got
Yeah.
the wind knocked out of him, but there's got to be a little bit of balance, and I'm sure they have a plan now that we're 6 weeks into the season. There's got to be a plan that Ben Johnson's just waiting to get out there because they're going to be both, really crucial going down, hopefully to snag a playoff spot and go further.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah. Well, let's just jump into what we thought about this game. For me, I want to talk about kind of the offense and a lot of drop balls throughout the game. Especially Laporta. I don't know if he was kind of I know he missed some practices, but he kind of looked rusty there. But luckily, he had a catch at the end of the game, kind of make up for it. Then you had a couple thrown to Jamison Williams. I wouldn't blame that on him. They're kind of a wild throw there. But yeah,
One of them, there was one that he should have just had, even though it was a bad throw, right in his hands. That's the kind of catch he came back for that he should have had.
yeah. But again, hopefully it's. I don't know about the Ravens defense, but I don't expect them to be blitzing like the Buccaneers did today. So hopefully Goff will kind of go through his reads and kind of relax a little bit more than this game happened. But yeah, also big props to the defense for allowing Buccaneers just 6 points, 2 field goals throughout the whole game. They didn't. They sacked Baker Mayfield once, but yeah, there were a lot of pressures. I mean, they had the mentality of bend don't break, and that's what they did today. Was they didn't allow a touchdown? They just allowed a couple field goals, and that was it. So yeah.
Yeah, they only had I counted maybe 2 or 3 blitzes the whole game where they brought more than their 4 normal rushers. The Lions, the difference between that Lions defense and that Buccaneers defense seemed to be the Lions were bringing a lot of good pressure with 4. Baker, kind of having to scramble, making a couple plays. Yeah, sure, he completed some stuff, but it did feel like that pressure was getting to Baker. They definitely got a couple licks on him too, which was great to see. But the Buccaneers, they were rushing 5, 6 guys it seemed at a time, and Goff was able to just stay calm and cool and make those throws. And I think that was a big difference here. But for the Lions, you don't see Aiden getting any, nothing on the stat sheet really. Probably some hurries, maybe. He had that one play early on where he pushed Mayfield out of bounds, but he kind of let up at the right time, and they didn't call a flag on him for, a personal foul hitting the guy out of bounds. But Other than that, a very quiet day for Hutchinson. But if you're watching that defensive line, he is creating havoc on that line. He might not be getting the stats or the numbers, but they're creating what they need to in order for that back end, the linebackers, the defensive backs, to make the plays. And I feel like that's what they did. There was a lot of pass breakups. There was a lot of great coverage, a couple of dumb penalties, I think, here and there. And then Tracy Walker with a few great hits. Good Lord, Tracy Walker, where you been? He was phenomenal today. I'm glad he didn't get flagged for that one hit in the middle. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just when you're able to just rush those four, that makes such a difference. That's what we were lacking last year, like with some iffy cornerback play last year. Now this year we have Sutton playing pretty damn good. We got Jacobs playing good. You got, Walker playing really good. You got Will Harris, who's a coin flip now and then, like plays good, plays not good. And it's what you want. And I think it's something they can definitely improve on and get better. I mean, they're already a good team, and they can get better.
Yeah. Speaking of like defensive players, you also got to throw in Alex Anzalone. Like I think this is like an all-star year for him so far.
Yeah.
And he's just playing out of his mind. Like that's really impressive.
And I'll go on record. When we first had Anzalone, that first year in Detroit, when we were 3-13-1, or whatever our record was that year, I did not like Anzalone at all. I was like, who is this guy? Why is he our lead linebacker? I don't like him. I think he makes dumb decisions. But 3 years into this Aaron Glenn defense, he is the anchor to that defense. I mean, he just is. He is a missile to the ball. He makes really good tackles, and I think a lot of good, smart decisions. And I love Anzalone. And that, took a couple years for me to get to that level, but the dude flat out plays. And to play with the stuff he's been going on outside of his life, with his family being over in Israel for the past week, with all that's going on, and finally getting him home, like that emotional stuff also racking on him between 2 games, like unbelievable from that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, they mentioned in the broadcast, but yeah, I think we're all happy that he got his family back, and they even mentioned that they went out to dinner last night in Tampa all together. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably something that kind of helped him in this game today. But yeah, also, you also have Jack Campbell kind of making big plays too, running towards the ball, a couple tackles today. So yeah, it's good to see him kind of take another step in his career. So that's good.
Yeah. Again, not going to be flashy numbers, but when you watch him make a play, he is making the play. It's a good wrap-up tackle. It's none of this like old school, like back when we had Darius Slay, who I love Darius Slay. But it was that old school mentality, like between him and then when we had Louis Delmas back in the day. They would just throw a shoulder into a guy. They wouldn't wrap him up or tackle him. This defense wraps people up and they tackle. That is what you want. Like, who was it? Was it Jacobs that broke that screenplay and like went through his blocker and got the tackle?
Oh, yep.
Like, it's effort like that old Lions teams didn't have. This is a well-coached defense and guys who are going to just be absolute missiles fighting that football or whoever's got the football.
Yeah, and also speaking of that, the Lions again run defense only allowed 46 yards of rushing, so another awesome day by them. I would like to see kind of the rankings this week after all the games are played. See if they're like number one in run defense, because they're killing it on the run defense.
Top 1 or 2, at the least 1 or 2. I mean, I don't know what more else a team could do. The Lions have been able to just have a great run defense, and it's been spectacular.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll have to look out for that. Hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah.
But a couple injuries. Again, we had David Montgomery. Looks like he has a rib injury. They said they got x-rays. Nothing was broken. So Dan Campbell said he'll know more tomorrow. And also, I guess at the end of the game, Kirby Joseph, I guess, kind of needed help getting off the field. So hopefully that's nothing too serious either.
Hopefully not.
But yeah,
I hadn't heard about the Kirby Joseph one until you just said that. So
yeah, I was saying it on X or Twitter or whatever about
yeah.
Kirby. So yeah, I guess we'll know more this tomorrow. I guess.
And
But
before
yeah,
we wrap up talk about this game, I do want to also throw out there again, Lions fans showing up to
oh
Raymond
yeah,
James Stadium. How about that? That sea of blue with also something we didn't talk about. The Buccaneers wearing those creamsicle orange uniforms. Great look. It was awesome to see. Very reminiscent of the old school NFC Central days. You know, you almost kind of wish the Lions would have had their throwbacks on too to make it really feel like an old NFC Central clash. But I mean, the way that those two defenses played, the way that the offenses kind of were going or lack thereof for the Bucks at a couple points, it just felt like an old school '90s just NFC Central, just knock them out, drag them out, fist fight, and the Lions, come out on top of it. But and to have all those fans there was so great, and hearing the chanting again, that's three big road wins for the Lions. Like I can't remember the last time, and I'm sure it's been recent, but three road wins like that, like just unbelievable. This team, we're watching something special, and it's so fun for a change.
yeah, it was. Speaking of jerseys, did you like that Lions jersey scheme they had with the gray helmet, white jersey, and the gray pants?
I didn't mind it. I know some people were saying they should have had the blue socks. I For their away jersey, that didn't bother me. They could have gone with the blue pants for all I care. That aesthetic, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna get upset about. Why are you upset about it?
I think they should have gone with the all white uniforms. I think that would
Uh,
have been
I
better.
don't know. I think going with the silver pants worked because it just, like I said, it made me feel like I was watching that old NFC Central. Like, because back then they didn't introduce the blue pants till like '97, and that's when the Bucks transitioned to their uh, more modern looking uniforms with the redder uniform. So I'm fine with the silver pants. I was more than okay with that. I just wish we had
Mm.
the dumb blue face masks on our helmets. That's the only thing the Lions are missing. Is a blue face mask. Gosh darn it.
Do they still have the black uniforms or no?
Thank God, no. I know there's going to be people out there
Uh,
who love those black uniforms. No, thank you, sir. Get that trash out of here. That's Millen era. That's gone. Never, ever again.
they should wear them next game.
You shut your mouth. You shut your darn mouth. Get those trash uniforms out of here, man. No,
Uh,
thank you.
I like the black uniforms,
Black is not
but
a part of the Lions color scheme, and it should not be a uniform.
uh,
I'm sorry, it is not. I will die on that hill. I can barely stand the gray jumpers that they wear. Like, dang.
oh well, it'll happen next year. But
No. Oh, it
speaking
better
of
not.
speaking of next week, let's go ahead and preview the Week 7 matchup against Lions against the Ravens. It is Sunday, October 22nd, at 1 p.m. on Fox. The Ravens are 4-2 now. They beat the Titans, who are 2-4, 24-16. Biggest thing for me, if you can stop Lamar from running and uh, lock down Andrews and Zay Flowers, like I feel like they should come out with another win. So yeah,
Yeah, did you watch any of that London game today?
a little bit. I mean, I think the Ravens are a little overrated right now. So if I had to put money on this next game, I'd probably be confident in putting it on the Lions. So yeah,
Okay. I mean,
even though
I go ahead.
even though it is at the Ravens. So yeah,
Yeah, see, I feel like this Ravens team reminds me a lot of the Buccaneers team we just played. A couple good receivers that we got to keep in check, a quarterback that has the ability to run. While I think Lamar is a greater threat to run, he didn't do it a whole lot in that game in London. I mean, when he did though, he got some good chunk yardage. But I think the Lions have the linebackers to kind of keep him in check, and Aiden Hutchinson's gonna chase him down. It's hard to say. I feel about the same as I did with the Bucks. I'm not sleeping on this Ravens team. This is two road wins for Detroit, their first back-to-back road trip, of the season. So I'd be curious to see how the Lions acclimate to that, to 2 games on the road in a row. But also then you got the Ravens flying back from London. They're probably still airborne, if not maybe just now getting, after the Lions game's done, finally getting back to the States. But I don't know how much of a factor that's going to play in for them, and then getting reacclimated to the time zones and all that stuff. I don't know how that'll affect them. Maybe it won't. But I just see this Ravens team much like the Bucs today. A lot of similarities, a defense that kind of makes me nervous, and an offense that can have the firepower. But I think that Detroit defense has shown if they can just keep that 4-man pressure up, they could lock down a few of the receivers, maybe give them those chunk plays now and then, but they're not going to let them get, hopefully, big over-the-top plays, and you just got to worry about Justin Tucker again, and hopefully he doesn't kick a 64 effing field goal on us like when I went to that game a couple years ago. So,
yeah, and hopefully by this game, I'm hoping that Gibbs comes back, and I hope they get Branch back on the field.
They'd be big additions, but I think the Lions have proved that whoever they kind of plug and play, they're able to adapt and work with what they have in place. Getting Branch back would be huge. Getting Gibbs would hopefully open a dimension back to that offense that we were kind of lacking with Reynolds today. Nothing against Reynolds. I think Craig Reynolds was a serviceable back. I thought, maybe he just didn't get enough of the carries. Like, they clearly just couldn't run the ball. Neither team could. So I'm not going to put that all on Reynolds, because that's a heck of a front that Tampa had. But I think Detroit could do the same thing. They could just nickel and dime them. Goff just pick them apart and do kind of the same thing. I think Detroit could still win, will still win, but it's going to be another tough game. This will be another boxing match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, but if Gibbs does come back, I don't want to see him run up the middle, because he's not that type of back.
Yeah, that's the one problem I've had with this offense, is running Craig Reynolds and running Gibbs up the middle is not the formula. I get it. You can't just keep running outside, because then the defense is going to get it. But I just like to see a little bit more, and I feel like maybe Ben Johnson hold him back a little bit in the play calling, which is fine. You don't want to let all the cats out, all the tricks out of the bag yet. But I just was missing a little bit of the creativity this week. But maybe that's just because we're spoiled, and it's like every week we have something fun to talk about, whether it's a snap between the legs, a flea flicker, double reverse, whatever, fake punt. Yeah. You know how many times I sit there, I'm like, Lions are going to fake punt right here, and nothing happens? They've trained me to sit there and wait for a fake punt. Like, it's just, you never know with Ben Johnson. And I just feel like the Ravens is a game where he's going to dial something up. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get something like Jamison Williams bomb down the end zone, like this game happened. Like,
could you imagine a play where he gets a touchdown like that, a bomb that he doesn't have to, like, where's it at? Oh, there it is. Like, you could just get him streaking down the field. That's what I'm waiting for. Just him streaking down the field. Don't have to look back. Just right in the breadbasket, touchdown. Like, they get that play down, good luck stopping that Lions offense.
Yeah, or crossing routes. Like, if Goff isn't pressured, I'd like to see a few of those deep crossing routes with Jamison Williams, to where he's running wide open and he gets a ball thrown to him. Like, I think that's where he's going to shine.
And good luck. I mean, amon-ra doesn't drop a lot of passes, so good luck. Like, if they throw a ball his way, I'd say 9 times out of 10 he's going to catch it. Like that, there was a really nice. It was just a simple out route to the sticks. They needed a couple of yards, and he's a yard beyond the sticks finally. Like that, the old Lions wouldn't do that, but amon-ra running a route that's a yard or two beyond the line, the line to gain, and he makes that tight catch on the sideline and gets it. Like, it's unbelievable. Sure hands, that dude. Sure hands.
Oh yeah, and Laporte is gonna have a bounce back game, so we'll see. I expect my score prediction is Lions 40, Ravens 24.
I won't go that high. It's going to be this. I think it'll be another 2014 type of game.
We'll see you next podcast if I'm right.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't gone back to check on your other score predictions, have you? So I haven't.
No. I think we did it once so far.
I'll write it down somewhere so you can check it next week.
Or I'll just watch a podcast.
Which you won't, so whatever.
Okay.
Wrap it up. I know you're trying to wrap it up.
Yep. So let's close it out. Adam, go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed listening to today's podcast. Come back for more, please. We love doing this show. It's a little late for us. Lions played a 4:30 game for a change, so we're doing this a little later, which means I got to stay up a little later to get it up. Because somebody, hold on, you told me you didn't want to do the podcast tonight because you were grilling or something. What are you making over there?
We're making pork dumplings.
Pork dumplings over there, and this dude's like, "Yeah, can't record tonight, making pork dumplings." I'm like, "Fine, whatever." Boo, and then I get a "Let's roll," like keeping me on my toes. So here we are.
Yep.
But yeah, be sure to visit the World of Football's website, www.theworldoffootball.com, for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want, get in touch with us. Just send an email to info@theworldoffootball.com. We greatly appreciate that one. Or you can contact us by our Facebook or X pages. Links for those are down in the description. Give us a follow. You won't regret it. Also, guys, be sure to check out our flagship podcast, This Week in the World of Football. Comes out every Tuesday, hosted by myself and the founder of the World of Football, my father, Randy Snow, as we talk about everything that's happened in the world of football, from the NFL to the Arena Football League that's coming back, to the Canadian Football League, and so much more. Be sure to join us Tuesdays for that one. And yeah, guys, please like, subscribe, all that junk. And again, all the stuff is down in the links in the description.
All right. Yeah, that's it for us this week. Again, thanks for watching, listening, whatever wherever you do that. Again, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. Let us know how we're doing. Yeah, Lions with a 5-1 record so far. So
Tied for the best record in the league.
Yeah, who's not excited for that? I'd like to know.
We are excited. Hey, I'm surprised you didn't rock that ski mask over your shoulder this week.
It's a little warm in my house right now, so I'm good.
All those pork dumplings you're not sharing.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week with hopefully another Lions victory. So go Lions.
Go Lions.